Hello and welcome to Campus to Community, the Columbia Basin College news magazine to keep you informed of what's happening at CBC and how we might better serve you. On our show today, well, where are you taking the kids for the holidays when they're off for break? How about the Bechtel Natiuonal Planetarium at CBC? We'll be talking with Erin Steinert about that. And we're also going to be talking about the Follow Your Dreams Athletic Banquet. And one of the inductees this year will be with us for the Wall of Fame, and that's Mike Fitzpatrick. But first, we're going to talk about the program itself, the Follow Your Dreams Banquet. And with us to share is Athletic Director Scott Rogers. Scott, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
The 10th annual already. It's hard to believe.
It's hard to believe. It's been 10 years since we started this, but it's a labor of love, and we're 6 months into the preparations and the planning, and it's 2 months away, and we feel like it's right on top of us.
Well, why has it been so successful all these years, do you think?
You know, the interest in our history and being able to honor our athletes, it's a very much a sports-minded crowd. To us, the most important thing is to be able to put people in the seats. And so to go out and sell those tables and secure those sponsorships has been a big deal for us. And for the 9th time in 10 years, we're almost sold out. We do have a few spaces available, but we have about 40 tables, and so it's going to be a large crowd.
Fantastic. And tell us a little bit about the inductees into the Wall of Fame this year.
Yeah, we've got, again, a great group to honor this year. We're starting off with Theardis Wallace, who's no longer with us, but he was a star on the 64 and 65 men's basketball teams. He's in the Richland High School Hall of Fame, Central Washington Hall of Fame, and now he's joining the CBC Hall of Fame. And we have Mike Fitzpatrick, who was a CBC wrestler in 71 and 72, holds all sorts of records within that program and was an All-American at the University of Washington. And then finally, we have the 1979 men's golf team. And out of the 13 members on that team, we've got 10 confirmed to show up. So we're excited about that.
Fantastic. And you said almost a sellout. Where does the money raised go to?
Well, we started the event going for scholarships to support our athletes. And it still largely goes for that. But it also goes for facility improvements and upgrades. It's against state regulations to spend state funds on athletic facilities, and so any improvements we get have to be fundraised as well. So scholarships first and facility upgrades second.
For those that might want to go, if there's still seats remaining, how do they get in contact and make a reservation?
Yeah, they'll call me directly at 542-4834, and we'll get them some tickets. Okay,
and you said a sellout every year. It's a real popular event. And I'm sure it will be again this year with the inductees, and the whole event is very festive.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere to honor our current athletes and recognize our history at the same time.
Very good. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Frank.
And stay with us. We'll be talking to one of the inductees into the Wall of Fame at CBC right after this.
I work in the project controls division, so this program is a really good fit for me for project management. It's a good package because everything that I'm learning here, we also are doing in our programs and projects at work. I just think it's a great program because it's close to home, and you know I can still work and be able to attend classes at night.
And welcome back, talking about the 10th annual Follow Your Dreams Athletic Banquet at Columbia Basin College on January 29th, with the social hour at 5 o'clock and the dinner at 6 p.m. And of course, the highlight is always the inductees into the CBC Athletic Wall of Fame. And with us is one of those inductees, Mike Fitzpatrick, wrestler from years gone by. And Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First of all, tell us a little bit about what it means to you to be inducted into the CBC Wall of Fame.
I think it's a real honor of the past people that have gone through there, the wrestlers that have gone through there, and the coaching involved, and just the heritage that went through the school. I think that with John Howard I was the head coach, and then Harold Surplus, when I was there, he was the assistant coach. They both credited each other, and we just it was remarkable how much talent they brought in to stay at that level. And what they did was, looking back at it, it was a real pleasure to wrestle for them.
Well, one thing that made him so good was you, because you were undefeated in 2 years, went all the way to the NCAA tournament, and was an All-American from the University of Washington. Tell us a little bit about some of your memories of the CBC program.
I remember CBC. Back when I was wrestling there, I think it was either the first year or the second year I was there. We had a facility. We never really had a wrestling facility, but we worked out at it was the old airport out at the Tri-Cities Airport. They used it during World War II out there. It was a Navy base out there, and we had to use their old gymnasium out there. And during that time, we had to run out there and run back.
Wow!
It was part of it. And the trip back, it was almost 2 miles out and 2 miles back. And the trip back, we had a stragglers, and we had a bus driver. That was one of the wrestlers, and he was driving a bus, and he'd pick up the stragglers that couldn't make it back because it was dark at that time. But I do.
Well, and they just been through a workout.
We just got done. Yeah, it was a two-hour workout, and then the run back. And then after we made it back to the college and everybody was there, then we went home. But it was just everybody was in the same boat, and everybody knew what the effort they had to put out, and the team was that way. We just, because if you didn't, there was always somebody going to take your spot, and and everybody knew it.
How did you establish such a fantastic record? I know the great coaching and everything, but
competition. Just pure competition.
Within the team? Within the team.
If you knew that the guy coming in second he's right on you. I mean, he's right behind you, and you knew that person there he was going to be eager to take that position. So it was almost, it was not fear, but it was, when it came to challenges, we had challenges on, I think it was Wednesdays, and you always looked up on that board in John Howard's office. You always had the name list of number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and you look down there and you think, ooh, this guy's coming up. And you almost feared it more within the team than you did with the competition in general. It just that was how tough it was. So
that's amazing. You never lost a match in 2 years at CBC, but you were almost as concerned with the guy behind you as the competition on the night you were wrestling.
Yeah, without a doubt. The thing that you asked me earlier about that question, whether sticks out on it, and I remember the gymnasium at that time too. The seats you could have the seats, and the seats are right next to the mat. And so if you got thrown out off the mat, you were actually in the seats. So with the people, and the people would throw you back in. So it was kind of but the people loved it. I mean, we'd pack that gym continuously. Every home match we had, it was always full, and the people were just involved with it just as much as the wrestlers were, and especially when it came to a really close match that we knew was coming up. So,
wow,
yeah, it was exciting.
So fond memories of CBC.
Yeah, it was.
Any other memories of the college other than wrestling?
The faculty. I remember the faculty coming out because they'd be out there. I mean, they'd be sitting in the stands with the wrestlers, so it wasn't like you saw your teacher that you had in class. He was going to be there, and he'd ask you in the hall, I mean, what are we going to do tonight? What kind of match we're going to have against these guys? So they were just as revved up about it as what the team was.
Fantastic.
It was. It was a family.
Very good. Mike, we look forward to January 29th and your induction into the Columbia Basin College Wall of Fame. Thank you and congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
Now, when we come back, we'll take a look at what you can be doing during the holiday break with the kids out at the Bechtel Natiuonal Planetarium right after this.
Where can you see stunning views of stars, galaxies, and other wonders of the universe? Visit the Bechtel Natiuonal Planetarium at Columbia Basin College. Take a guided tour of the night sky under a spectacular dome in the Community Enrichment Foundation Theater, where you can learn about phases of the moon, planets, constellations, and other fascinating objects in deep space. Science and educational films for a variety of age groups are also displayed on the planetarium dome. Look up into the night sky. Learn more about our universe.
And welcome back. Well, the holiday season is upon us, and what to do with the kids when they're out of school, or yourself for that matter. And that could mean coming to the Bechtel Natiuonal Planetarium at Columbia Basin College. And here to discuss it with us is the outreach specialist for the planetarium, Erin Steinert. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Frank.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Bechtel Natiuonal Planetarium for those that have never been there.
Sure, and there are still quite a few people in the community that haven't been out quite yet. So we operate the largest digital theater in the entire state of Washington, and I cannot stress enough, every time I've been on, this is my third time I think coming to talk to you, about how lucky we are in the Tri-Cities to have a facility like this. It has a 36-foot wide dome where we show the night sky and films. We offer public shows, private events, K through 12 field trips, the whole shebang. And this weekend, December 4th and 5th, will be our third-year anniversary, and we'll be offering our public shows for free.
Oh, fantastic. Now, you went through some of the different audiences that go through there. What kind of classes and what kind of schools come to you, and CBC classes, that type of thing?
Right, so since we're on the CBC campus, of course, we like to cater to CBC students first and foremost. And so we do have an astronomy class that is taught in the theater a few days a week. Other classes, though, do utilize our theater space for their lessons as well. We have a movie on cell biology, so the cell bio classes will come in and view that. We have a movie about the climate of the Earth, and so our environmental science classes will come in and view that program too. ASCBC, our student organization on campus, also hosts some movie nights in our planetarium. So we do love to have CBC students and staff come in and use it for whatever they see fit. But then, of course, we do offer public shows on the weekends, and we also do private events for Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, that sort of thing. And the main part of my job, what I do, is I host K through 12 field trips under the dome.
Oh, fantastic. And do a lot of schools take advantage of that?
Many, many schools take advantage of that. In fact, I was speaking with somebody just earlier today about how this last May alone, I saw over 2,000 2,000 K through 12 students come through the door in that 1 month. So we're getting more students coming in, but of course I'd love to see every single student in the Tri-Cities and the surrounding areas come and see a show in our theater.
Well, tell us a little bit about the public viewing on Friday and Saturday, and is it just a movie, and what times do they show?
Sure. So our public shows are every week, every Friday night at 7 and 8, and Saturdays are at 2 and 3. Each show is an hour long. Or the first half is a live presentation, so we project the night sky onto the dome above you, and we tell you where to find constellations, planets, stars. We talk about news and astronomy, anything that's going on locally. The second part of the second part of the presentation is a movie. We have 14 different films on hand to choose from, and most are astronomy based, but like I mentioned, some movies deal with cell biology, the anatomy of trees, and the climate of the Earth. And if you visit with a field trip or a private event, you can choose whichever film you'd like for your visit.
Fantastic. So I'm sure there's a lot of people never been to a planetarium. They've never had the experience of the full dome. What's that like?
Sure, and a lot of people do confuse it with an observatory, which we also have on campus. But an observatory is where you actually go to look through a telescope at the night sky, whereas a planetarium uses projection system and software to show you the night sky inside. And so it's a simulated image of the night sky. And our software also allows us to not only see the sky from a point of view on Earth, but we can also travel in space and visit different planets in the solar system. We can zoom in on different deep space objects, nebulae, galaxies, and talk about those as well. It's a very cool facility.
For those looking forward to coming out there, have some more questions, what's the phone number to call?
Sure, give me a call at 542-4515, or you can visit us on our website. That's columbiabasin.edu/planet.
Hey. And Erin, thank you so much for joining us on Campus to Community.
Thank you for having me, Frank.
And thank you for joining us, and that's Campus to Community.